Hey, what's going on today, YouTube? We got another deck profile here. This time is of my first place list. I played a local with branded Despia, and have some pretty cool news as well. I recorded feature matches this time, so we actually have some to upload. They will be uploaded after this because I wanted to give some comments about them first. Please keep in mind that most of our players are more casual based and everybody makes mistakes, so don't just throw in 100 hate comments in the videos because everybody makes mistakes. Otherwise, you would be winning YCSs and Worlds if you didn't make mistakes too, so keep that in mind. But yeah, going into this profile, I decided to play Branded because I really liked the deck back last year when the deck first came out with the Albaz Strikes structure decks, and I decided to go ahead and just pick it back up, give it another shot. And I gotta say, I really like this deck now. I like that it's more combo oriented, and I like that the plays it makes are just insanely more powerful. So we're gonna go on and get into it. So starting off with the Despia monsters, we got the 3 Aliber, and then 1 Ad Libitum, 1 Tragedy. So I decided to play this ratio. It's pretty standard. A couple times I wish I played the 2nd Tragedy just because of the Kashtira matchup. And same thing with Ad Libitum, but I wanted to keep the deck at 41 cards. It's only 41 because I'm playing a brick in the deck, more so than any of the other types of bricks that you could play. So yeah, we're at 5 Despias. And then for the Albaz and Albaz related cards, we got 3 of actual Albaz. I don't know, a lot of people are down to 2 on this, but it always feels bad losing them to Kashtira face down. Also, it's just it's so good to normal summon him or summon him off deployment and just immediately have a threat access right there. 2 Cartesia, 2 Mercurier, and 1 Albion is the last of the Fallen of Albaz cards. 2 Cartesias becoming more standard. I personally didn't like it too much. I wanted to side one out every game, and I know that's probably just how it is with everybody else playing too. But I might just cut her down to 1 and deal with it. The 2 Mercurier, very good. Normally, in the first builds I had for playtesting with this deck, I had 3 in there. But it just became too cloggy. I wanted 2 because I'm playing Gold Sark in the deck, but also because you can dump 1 for your combo and search 1 later and still have a pretty free interrupt. Then Albion's pretty standard. He's there for just the branded lost combos. And then for the Bestial cards, because we still have to play them, 2 Lubellion, 2 Sartnir. So I wanted to actually only play 1-1 like the YCS lists were playing, but my local has enough reason to want to justify playing at least 1 more Sarnir, just to maybe, hopefully rip and draw it. But honestly, I felt like if I did that, I needed to add up on the Lubellion count as well, because it just it helps you progress your game. It feels better to draw this now than it does to use it for any of the combos that were in the last format, which is really funny to say because that combo was absurd. But the new stuff you could do because of Rinbrum is so much better. So if anything, this might go up to 3, and or Sarnir might go up to 3. We'll see how it feels mathematically. But you definitely really like matching them together and sets, so we might just end up trying 3-3. And then for the true brick that I mentioned we were playing is the Dark Magician. So you see this, we're playing Dragoon. But honestly, opening this card never feels bad because then your Brand Diffusion doesn't have to dump it, and you can actually dump Tragedy, or you could dump the Mercurier if you have the Bestial to make your Renbrum line, and you could do it later. Like, there's a lot of like reasons that drawing the card is actually better than having it in deck, which is really weird. But you obviously don't want to play multiples because imagine a hand with 2 Dark Magicians. That would be catastrophic. So, but like drawing this card honestly feels better than having it in the deck, and it's really weird to say for a brick, but it is true. Like, it just not having to rely on dumping it is crazy. For the branded spells and traps, there's a lot of them. So we got 3 branded fusion, got 3 branded lost, 1 branded and red, 1 branded lost. I think I called this one lost. I meant to say opening. Whoops. 1 branded lost, 1 branded regained, 1 branded and white, 1 branded beast, 1 branded retribution. So this ratio is all pretty standardized. There are a lot of times where I wish I had the second in red, not because of like banishing a face down to the Kashtira matchup, but because I just wanted like an extra card for the grind. It came up like once or twice where I wasn't able to go into Chimera with it, and I had to like force into other cards. So I really wish I had the second in red just to help make Chimera, because Chimera is a powerful card. And I was a huge hater on Regained for a while. I was easily just like gonna cut that to make it back down to 40, but I decided to play 41 just because of Dark Magician, and Regained actually came up once, and because I drew it, but I never want to like open it. I never really want to search it, so it felt weird to play. And then Branded Beast was crazy. Retribution is for the in-white combo. Everybody knows what Lost is, so yeah. Don't really need to explain a lot of these. These cards have been around since March of last year, so, well, at least most of them, so most people know what they all do. For the support cards, we're playing 3 Fusion Deployment. This card is crazy. This is almost good enough to play before with Albash, is like instead of something like Super Poly, because this forces out other types of interruption. And Despia has always been really resilient to disruption, so it's really cool that this is now playable in the deck because of Cartesia being able to summon it, because you play the big guy in the extra deck. I'm not going to begin to pronounce his name. And then the other 2 support spells are playing 1 Gold Sark and then 1 Foolish Burial. You really just need to see Aliber, and these both see Aliber. Also, Sark has the added advantage of banishing Mercurier and getting like an Albaz play started. So yeah, that's why we play those. Most of the time these are just Aliber searchers though, because it's just more copies of Branded Fusion. And then for our going second cards, the only 6 that we play, 3 Ash, 3 Eclipse. So I wanted to keep it short and simple. Eclipse is probably the most generic board breaker you could play other than Nib, but I didn't want to play just 1 board breaker slot and then have it be Nib, because then if I draw my 6th card, it's pretty useless. Eclipse also works with protecting your own cards through Nib and other sources of interaction. And then Ash Blossom is just very generic, probably the most generic hand trap. Also is an FTK against Branded most of the time. Like, their hand has to be fucking crazy in order to outplay that, drawing the 1 Ash. So, yeah. That's it for the main. So for the extra deck, I will say that the extra deck for Branded is one of the like weirdest things about it, because in theory it should be pretty simple, but like this extra deck takes a lot to like really manage. And then, yeah, we're gonna go and just talk about it. So for the Fallen of Albaz fusions, we got 2 Mirror Jade, 2 Lubellion, and then 2 Albion. These are all pretty standard. Oh, whoops. And then 1 Rindbrum and 1 Sprind. So, or Iron Dash Dragon, whatever this card's called. Yeah, it's called Sprind. So, these are all common. You know, these make sense. I have to play the 2 Lubellion now because of good old Kashtira. But the Sprint is just here for Contact C. Now, I don't think Contact C is very good because like you can just out it naturally through the deck's engine with fusions or with like tribute summoning it for Saronir. Obviously, the tribute summon for Saronir, you have to not normal summon Aliber, but you can just fuse it off with Guardian Chimera or for Guardian Chimera material. And I played it just in case, literally as a just in case. And in game 1's just like a free dump to get Albaz and summon it. And that's pretty much it for those. Like I said, these have been out since March of last year, so don't really need to explain how good of a card Mirror Jade is. For the Cartesia Fusions package, we're playing one of this thing and then one Quertus. Quertus is just here primarily to summon off of the Cartesia Fusion effect. You can make it in certain game states and it works, but never really need it outside of him. This card's crazy though. We're playing a target in the extra deck, which I really wish I didn't play because it could have just been something else to help with like the grind or second like Rindbrum or like something else, like even Briskenian to give an extra option to this guy. That target is Garua. It is pretty cool that you can dump this off of that to make to draw a card and then make Mirror Jade off of that. But in reality, like it felt like one random card in the deck was not worth the extra deck spot. The one Guardian Chimera card's broken. One Predaplant card is also very good. It came up a lot this weekend, actually. It comes up a lot more nowadays than it used to, which is crazy, because like it still was pretty good back then. But a lot of these decks are like Exceed-based decks now. So like just Dragostapelia on like the Unicorn effect just like ends their turn because now it's also a level 1, so even if they have the extender, they can't really do anything with it. That's pretty crazy. And then the final two cards, the 2 Dragoon. Yeah, I wish I could say this was my idea, but it certainly wasn't. This was very good. We're going to move these to the side. I want to talk about Dragoon for a little bit. Dragoon was crazy. So many decks have an art out to him, except for the ones that main Eclipse. But even then, if you know your one weakness to the deck is just quite literally Eclipse, you can save the negate for the Eclipse, and then you just like what do they have to out it? Like some decks just can't out it outside of Eclipse. So you could just save the Dragoon negate for that, and they have to deal with it. And since we're playing the Dark Magician, we get the pop. But also, this card is crazy strong with Cartesia. Because it's really easy to keep dumping fusion materials into the grave, or fusion monsters into the grave, and you just keep adding this back every turn. Then eventually it just becomes like a free resource for Dragoon every turn just to negate something. So that was the best use of Cartesia in my deck, to be 100% honest with you, is this card. I love playing Dragoon. He's no DPE. We'll find a way to play him outside of Heroes eventually, but yeah, Dragoon was crazy. A buddy of mine also played this deck. I don't know how Dragoon worked for him, but I imagine when he sees the video, he'll comment about it. And then for the side, we got 3 Nibiru. These are all out of order. Should have fixed that, but oh well. 3 Nibiru, 3 evenly matched. 3 dimensional barrier, sorry. Move these down. 3 enemy controller, and then 3 ghost spell. Now I need to move them back up. Man, I'm professional. So the enemy controllers are here for the Ibli lock. Pretty much guaranteed to lose if you start with Summon Aliber. That's like the only way you can play other than Saronir. So, and like the decks, like Kashtira, for example, you don't want the Bestials in the deck to like fight the Ibli because like it doesn't do anything other than that. And then they can just like, trigger the Fenrir, trigger the Unicorn, depending on how they start. So it felt really bad just to play extra Bestials. So that's why I'm playing Ghost Bell for it. Ghost Bell also just has the nice ability to target out other like rogue decks. So these are like my Ibli outs. for the deck, if that makes sense. Bell has, unique interactions in the mirror, has the unique interactions against some of the more rogue decks in the format. And then D-Barrier is crazy if you play against a deck that's not Fusion. Even if you play against a deck that's Fusion, it still obviously really hurts you, but it also turns off your cards, which going first is like a last resort. So I really only sided him against the Exceed deck matchups. 3 evenly is evenly, not much I gotta say about that. And then Nibiru's, Nibiru is just broken. Like, I would love to have been able to main it in the tournament, but I decided not to, and it did come up a few times where, like, the Eclipses, I really wish they were Nibs, or because that was, like, the debate between the deck for me was I was going to play Eclipse in the main or side and Nib in the opposite slot. And there are a few times where I wish I had the Nib, but all in all, considering the fact I won, it was obviously not that big of a deal. So, yeah. So that's it for the deck. Like I said, we have some feature matches that I'm getting ready to just finish reviewing, make sure they're all good to go. I'm very excited to start doing this again. I have a sudden burst of motivation, and we will hopefully be able to continue this going up, because I do enjoy making content for you guys, and I hope that sometime down the road we can eventually hit past the 1,000 subscriber mark, and that's the big goal at the moment, is to get to 1,000 subs. But yeah, until then, I hope you guys just enjoy the content. Remember to comment, rate, subscribe, and let me know what you think about the deck. And like I said, look out for future matches starting tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Peace, YouTube.